delegation from India, led by Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, participating. All that and more. Let's begin with the headlines. Amid escalation in West Asia conflict, Iranian foreign minister meets Putin in Moscow. The Russian president says US attack on Iranian nuke sites was unjust aggression. No signs of de-escalation. Israeli defense forces have struck 6 airports in Iran, destroyed 15 Iranian aircrafts and helicopters.
Trump, you can start this war, but we will be the ones who end it.
Iranian army issues a threat to Trump amid escalation, says the US has started this war and Iran will end it. 2 days after Pakistan's Field Marshal nominated US President for Nobel Peace Prize, parliamentarians staged protests, slamming Operation Midnight Hammer. And Republic remains the only channel to be bringing the ground reality straight from the war zone. Multiple exclusive reports only on your channel. All right, friends, the escalating Iran-Israel war has entered its second week with no signs of de-escalation. The politics and power play has only intensified as the US military launched precision strikes on 3 key Iranian nuclear facilities yesterday, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan, prompting Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, to warn of irreparable damage and vow a severe response. In Tel Aviv, in Israel, Iranian ballistic missiles strikes have left civilian infrastructure crippled. But today, the target was Ashdod, Israel's military claiming to have struck over 1,100 targets across Iran, including nuclear sites and missile launch facilities, while Iran's foreign minister, Sayyid Abbas Araghchi, condemned the US called actions as a reckless violation of international law and cancelled nuclear talks with Washington. With no signs of ceasefire soon, the question really is, what will it take to bring Iran to the negotiation table? On your screens are the most compelling visuals from the day. The ones on screen now are of the Israeli strikes that have eliminated Iranian aircrafts at those 6 locations. This picture is again of outside of Tehran, of a bombing carried out by Israeli aircrafts. These pictures are from Tel Aviv in Israel, where an Iranian missile hit. And these pictures are from Tehran, where Iran claimed to have downed an Israeli F-35 fighter aircraft. And so all these pictures from Tehran and from Tel Aviv, from Iran and from Israel show a picture of destruction all around with escalation building in. No signs whatsoever of de-escalation. In fact, just in a bit, we are going to be joined in by Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson Alex Gandler. He is getting ready, and we'll ask him about the state of affairs there, whether this escalation is planned or whether this escalation is just happening because of strikes and counter strikes from both the sides, whether this is aimed at some specific mission objectives, or whether this is about a general state of war which is prevailing in West Asia. Alex Gandler is joining us soon, Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson, even as we continue to play these pictures that have come in the last few hours. These are pictures of the last 24 hours of how the attacks and counter-attacks from both the sides have played out. This picture, for example, from Tehran, where Iran has claimed downing of a Hermes drone, and that was a drone on a mission from the Israelis, and that has been downed, underscoring the still available air defense capabilities inside Iran. Remember, Israel had maintained All right, till the time Alex Gandler joins, let's look at some Ground reports, ladies and gentlemen. Republic has brought to you the ground reality of Israel and this coverage that puts into perspective the aftermath of relentless offensive by Iran in Israel's commercial capital. Take a look.
Behind me is one of the residential areas of Tel Aviv that was hit by the ballistic missile of Iran. You can see how extensive is the damage to tens of different buildings here all around. Many young Israelis are living here, going to the university which is close to here, and a lot of security forces working now trying to rescue people that may be still in danger in all of those buildings. All the area is completely destroyed from one ballistic Iranian missile. As well, Iran using illegal cluster munition on their missiles. That's why it is not just one big missile, but many small parts of the missile are also spread all around in radius of hundreds of meters, and they can explode any moment if somebody touch them, especially kids. That's why the security forces here continue to work and to reach each of those munitions.
All right, we cut out of that ground report because Alex Gandler, the spokesperson of the Israeli Foreign Ministry, has joined us. Very good evening to you from here, Alex. And first up, are we looking at some controlled escalation that we have seen in the last 24 hours post the American bombing of Irani nuclear sites, or is this just a state of war?
Well, shalom from Jerusalem. I don't know if escalation is specifically the word. For us Israelis and for us as Israel, every moment since October 7, 2023 was an escalation. So for us, this is a continuation of that same game that was started by Hamas and Iran on October 23. So seeing the latest moves both by Israel and the United States are just probably natural things and a natural order of things regarding Iranian aggression towards Israel.
All right, and today is also the day when Iranian foreign minister was in Moscow, and President Putin has come out openly in support of Iran. Mr. Gandler, you think on diplomatic front, Israel is as nimble-footed as it is on the battlefront?
Well, for the past more than 20 years, maybe we can even say 30 years, Israel has been pretty nimble-footed, as you say, regarding diplomacy. And that is the way that it was conducted with Iran for the past 20 to 30 years. But as you can see, Iran was edging closer and closer to a nuclear weapon and to developing its nuclear weapon program. So being diplomatic with Iran has reached its end on a 13th of June this year. And unfortunately, we had to strike Iranian nuclear program or Islamic regime nuclear program targets, if I can be precise.
Okay, Mr. Gandler, last question before I let you go. How much of your military targets are left before which you could confidently say that, okay, fine, now we have completely taken down any possibility of Iran becoming a nuclear power in near future?
Well, Iran is a very big country. It is, from my understanding, about 18 times the size of Israel. Probably not as big as India, but quite a large country as it be. And there are plenty of military targets. Some of them are still firing at us. Since the beginning of this escalation, as you mentioned, from June 13th, we had 500 ballistic rockets fired at Israel, together with more than 1,000 drones, Shahed drones, the same ones that are fired at Ukraine. So there are still many, many, many targets for us to attack. I don't think we're done. The Iranian nuclear program is not effective as it used to be. I think we've hit, together with our American partners, many targets of that program, which was the number one goal for us. But the second goal is their ballistic missile program. They wanted to expand it from the around 11,000 ballistic missiles they have now, some of them short range, most of them short range, some of them medium range, the ones that are reaching Israel, and the same ones that can reach India. But Iran tried to expand that program to about 30,000 ballistic missiles, and it was on its way to expanding that program, and we are about to stop it. Because as you can see, and you've probably noticed, most of the targets hit in Israel are civilian targets. It's not because Iran can't direct its missiles at other targets, but it's because they're targeting civilians specifically as a terror campaign in order to force Israel to stop what we're trying to do with stopping their nuclear program.
Right. Mr. Gandler, just last question before I let you go. Quick answer. Is there some time frame by which you believe that you would have decimated Iran's missile program also to a level where it's not a threat to you anymore?
The time frame is unset. We are ready to act. We have all necessary resources both to counter their terror missiles shot at Israel, and we have enough resources for our airmen to fly over Iran in order to destroy their launchers. You know, they started with roughly about 300 ballistic missile launchers on trucks that were and are able to move around Iran. Our assessments are that they are currently at about 100 trucks left, which means we still have work to do, both regarding the trucks themselves, but also regarding the rockets. Just yesterday, actually this morning as well, we've attacked rocket storage facilities and missile storage facilities. So we still have a long way to go. I want to add one thing, especially for the viewers in India.
Yeah.
We are not attacking the Iranian people. We are attacking the Islamic regime that is currently controlling Iran. That is our goal, to stop that regime from obtaining nuclear weapons, because it will oppress the world the way it oppresses its own people. So we're taking on the brunt of doing this, but at the end of the day, it's for everyone.
Right. Thank you so much. Alex Gandler there, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel, joining us and suggesting that Israel is still not done with its targets inside Iran, after which only perhaps there would be de-escalation. Moving on for now, we go back to a ground report filed by Nick from the ground there in Tel Aviv.
This is one of the areas where the Iranian ballistic missile hit. This is a residential area in the center of Israel. The people that are living here mostly are students, elderly. Some of the targets that was hit here are buildings where students are studying in the university, which is nearby, and also elderly in one of those big buildings. But the Iranians doesn't care. They try to kill as much as possible regular Israeli citizens, and they just don't care who is the ones that are suffering from their blasts and from their rockets. They just don't care. They try to kill as much as possible people, and you can see here one of the buildings. This is a big residential building with many people that are evacuated from this building because it is completely destroyed. You can't be inside anymore.
All right, so those were the Israeli views. And viewers, we are also bringing to you the view from Iran. We have, in fact, Munawwar Zama, Iranian journalist. He's actually based out of New Delhi for Press TV and joins us live. A very good evening to you, Munawwar. And you heard the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Israel maintains that while they have substantially, decimated the nuclear infrastructure of Iran, the missile infrastructure is still there and they are going after it. What's your take on that?
Well, good evening to you too, my friend. First of all, I picked up certain things that Alex was talking about. It's been a long time that Israel is playing a victim. They don't speak about what they did in Gaza. They don't speak about what they unfolded on Palestinians. Now, today, the war is in their land, and now they're playing a victim card again. It's not about the 7th October. It's about 1948 when they grabbed the land illegally, and Iran has a nuclear weapons. This is nonsense. I mean, it is under the purview of the Atomic Energy Agency. The inspectors kept on visiting it over and over again. Even the last time the Israeli launched its onslaught at the ferocious attack on the nuclear site, even till then, the International Atomic Energy Agency was monitoring it. And it is under the purview of the IAEA. And Iran is, in fact, the signatory to Non-Proliferation Treaty. It's always been playing a victim's card in Israel, and they are showing some reports on the ground that Iran is hitting the residential complexes. Why haven't they allowed journalists to come to Gaza and cover there? Why aren't they allowing journalists to report in Israel? Why don't they allow the journalists to come to Iran? I mean, why don't they allow the journalists to come to Tel Aviv? Why don't they allow the journalists to report about what is happening?
I mean, if I could request, if you go bring in Gaza into the picture, and then, if you become a party to that war, then of course the Israeli defense would be what's wrong with if the Americans come in on their side, So if you can just speak about Israel versus Iran.
It's not my question. It's not my question. My question is, the gentleman spoke about 7th October. So responding to that, it's not a question of 7th October. It's the question of United Nations resolutions that Israel has illegally occupied the lands of others. So that's the answer for that. And second thing, Tehran or Iran is not launching attacks on civilian areas. It is the vice versa, because the regime is used to do what it is doing. I mean, it is doing what it is doing right now because they have blatantly, illegally breached the sovereignty of a nation by flying airplanes and bombing it.
One more thing the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson said was that this war is against the Iranian Islamic regime and not against the people of Iran. How do you see that differentiation, Munawar?
Well, it's absurd. What did you see the reports from Iran today? Did you see on the ground how many thousands or scores of people protested in support of the government and in support of the leader? I mean, it's totally, this is a hypocrisy. I mean, this doesn't work in today's world, and it's hard to be a journalist these days. And you speak a truth, it's inconvenient. It is totally inconvenient. The people stand by Iranians, and Iranian people stand by the government. That's why we saw massive gatherings of people supporting and chanting slogans against Israel and the United States.
So what's this regime change that President Trump is talking about? Like, if there is no groundswell of support for change of government, then would the Americans talk about it?
Well, it's not just today that we're hearing regime changes. How many times have we been hearing in the Middle East? What did the Americans, what did they achieve by invading Iraq? What did they achieve by creating mayhem in Syria? I mean, on the pretext that Iraq has a weapons of mass destruction, what did they find there? There was nothing. It's just the pretext amid there was a diplomatic gesture from Iran, which was still underway in Oman. The talks were still happening. And amid the talks, you're bombing a country. It's a hypocrisy. It's a deceit. This is not what a leadership demands. This is not how leaders work in the world. Leaders don't lead like this. Leaders abide by their commitments.
Yeah.
They could have at least given diplomacy time. They could have waited for the negotiations to happen. And they just played the deceit again. That doesn't happen.
All right, Munawar, hopefully we'll have a longer conversation on this. I've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. And moving on, friends, today also marks the 40th anniversary of the tragic Air India Kanishka bombing, as it's called, of Flight 182. A high-level Indian delegation led by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri paid tributes to the 329 victims at the Akesta Memorial Garden in Northern Ireland, and joined by Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin, Canadian Multiculturalism Minister Gary Anandasangakari, and diplomats from multiple nations. The ceremony highlighted global solidarity in honoring those lost in one of history's deadliest aviation disasters, terror attacks. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, in a powerful statement, condemned the 1985 bombing as one of the worst acts of terrorism in modern history, calling for unwavering resolve to combat extremism and ensure justice. In fact, just a couple of days back, Canada has, for the first time, admitted that there was a mastermind, and that mastermind was identified as Mr. X. Okay. Khalistani terrorists downed that Air India flight in 1985. We have Sanjay Lazar. He's someone whose family was there on board. Members of the family were there on board. Mr. Lazar, very good evening to you. A somber moment today. A memorial being held, or was held, in fact, in Ireland in the morning, and we had a high-level Indian delegation participating for the first time, perhaps at that level. You think we have any sense of closure 40 years after that tragic terror attack in which all those 329 people, including your family members, some of your family members, lost their lives? Mr. Lazar, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, thank you for having me on your show. And it's not Captain, I'm just Sanjay Lazar. I lost my entire family, my mother, my father, and my baby sister that day, as I was aged only 17. It's the first time that the Indian government has sent such a large contingent after 40 years. And it's a matter of great honor and happiness that the government has taken cognizance. I thank Prime Minister Modi and, of course, Mr. Hardeep Puri ji, who have both come here and, who led the delegation of 7, MPs and MLAs from across India. And it was a stirring speech by the minister at the memorial, where we had more than 40 families there. This will not mean closure, no. One of our, requests to the government of India for 40 years has been that we have a memorial in India and a learning center. Because unless we start memorializing this tragedy, there will never be closure because we'll never get justice. So that is one thing that we're looking out for. It goes a long way in assuaging our feelings. I hope that, the minister promised to look into it and take it up to the Prime Minister. I'm sure he will do that. In the meantime, we continue our battle to ensure that we get the memorial there.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Lazar, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on the 40th anniversary of the Kermanshah bombing. With that, we run out of time for this edition of This Is Exclusive. Friends, thanks for joining. Short break. On the other side, trending.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड भी, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, और घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. It was nearly 10 years ago that a bright September day was darkened by the worst attack on the American people in our history. The images of 9/11 are seared into our national memory. Hijacked planes cutting through a cloudless September sky, the Twin Towers collapsing to the ground, black smoke billowing up from the Pentagon, the wreckage of Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the actions of heroic citizens saved even more heartbreak and destruction. And yet we know that the worst images are those that were unseen to the world. The empty seat at the dinner table, children who were forced to grow up without their mother or their father, parents who would never know the feeling of their child's embrace, nearly 3,000 citizens taken from us, leaving a gaping hole in our hearts. On September 11th, 2001, in our time of grief, the American people came together. We offered our neighbors a hand, and we offered the wounded our blood. We reaffirmed our ties to each other and our love of community and country. On that day, no matter where we came from, what God we prayed to, or what race or ethnicity we were united as one American family.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAHM.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
The fact is that Donald Trump said within 2 weeks he will take action. He could have taken action the very next hour. He said within 2 weeks. He did not say he's going to wait 2 weeks. He said within 2 weeks. And he's a man who he lives up to his word. And I can tell you that this is evolving exactly in the way that geopolitical analysis would lead it to evolve. With China basically joining hands with Iran, I think the Israelis will get a shock, because they have been trying to cultivate the Chinese now for decades. And now I think they'll be given a rude reality check on that. And the US is inevitable it comes in, because it is not going to allow a nuclearized Iran. There's no question about that. It's not going to allow it. And so what we are witnessing is the beginning of of something that could be international ramifications. You already got China into it. I hope, for Russia's sake, that Putin is not going lockstep with China, but he declines from giving massive assistance to Iran, because that is going to help the US diplomacy under Donald Trump. But all in all, I know what side India is on. India is on the side of the democracies.
Prime Minister Modi is on the side of the democracies. He understands geopolitics very well. And Trump also understands geopolitics very well. I know Putin also understands geopolitics very well. And it's in Russia's interest to ensure that it does not join with China in a full-scale attempt, a futile attempt, if I may say so, to try and assist Iran. So I'd like to say what we are seeing now is a very significant development that has been really brewing for so many years, since Cold War 2.0 between the US and China in particular. Other democracies also came. And now it is bursting into a kinetic phase. And I'm not surprised by that. I don't think anybody who has studied that analysis or read those analyses will be surprised. I'm only saying that Russia is an imponderable, there's no doubt about it. And China, I think Israelis have got a reality check on China. And I think I applaud President Trump for acting the way he did and preventing a nuclearized Iran. I applaud him. And I can tell you, I know firsthand this government in India and President Trump on the basic strategic issues, they see eye to eye. And Prime Minister Modi and President Trump see eye to eye.
From your smart screens to your smart television, the trending stories are always breaking the internet. We tell you today how the closing down of the Strait of Hormuz could affect India and the world. Also, the situation between Iran and Israel is escalating. Iran has hit Israel in the latest with a multiple warhead Qadr-8 missile. What does it mean? We'll tell you that. And from the world of cricket, it's good news. We get you the latest from Leeds as Indian batters are on a roll. Century for KL Rahul, and Pant is almost just few runs away from another ton in Leeds. We have this and a lot more Power Pack Bulletin. I'm Rakshita Mishra, and that's what's trending today. As tensions in the Middle East continues to escalate, viewers, the world is holding its breath. What began as a regional conflict is now sending shockwaves through global markets, triggering dramatic economic shifts from Asia to America.
سقوط صاروخ في حيفا.
So viewers, this comes after the US had intensified its involvement in West Asia, striking key Iranian nuclear sites, bombing it with the B-2 bombers. But it's a sudden closure of the Strait of Hormuz now, viewers. It's a crucial maritime artery for global oil trade that is now sending alarm bells ringing in the financial hubs across the world. It's an interconnected world where geopolitical tensions can destabilize the economic landscapes in the blink of an eye. Markets are reacting with a vengeance. And as oil prices surge to their highest levels in 5 months and Asian stocks dipping sharply, the ripple effect is already being felt, especially in nations like India that rely heavily on the Gulf oil imports. What happens next could have far-reaching consequences, not just for regional stability, but for global energy markets, the trade routes, and the economies across continents. So today we delve into this escalating crisis in West Asia and how India is bracing for a turbulent, or what could be a turbulent economic ride in face of these unpredictable developments. For more on this, and I have my colleague in fact, Pranav is joining us from the business desk as to what really the closure means for India. Now, Pranav, tell us more, because the Strait of Hormuz is very important for the global oil supply, and for India as well, it's very important for the crude oil, especially. But if it takes effect, what impact could it have on India?
Well, actually, Rakshita, precisely. I mean, Gulf of Hormuz, what is Gulf of Hormuz? Strait of Hormuz is primarily a small channel, which is about 33 kilometer wide. And at its narrowest point, it's about 3 kilometer wide. Now, this channel is necessarily a small portion that connects the Middle East, or so to say, the oil-rich nations to the entire world via Arabian Sea. So obviously, you know, when Iran has decided to block, or the Iranian parliament has decided to block the Strait of Hormuz, it necessarily means that the oil supplies to the entire world are going to be affected. And India imports about 66% of LPG from across the, the Middle Eastern region, though not entirely all of it comes from Gulf of Hormuz. So India will definitely be affected. It remains to be seen how long Iran continues to block the Strait of Hormuz. That is what will decide the impact on Indian markets and the prices, so to say.
And we're also talking about the limited alternatives that India has, because there is a lot of talk about, you know, how this can rise and it costs India billions, and at the same time, what can India do, in fact, to mitigate such effects?
Well, the good thing is that India has good diplomatic relations with Iran as well as Israel. So Indian markets have in that sense been isolated from the conflict. That's point number one. Point number two, as Minister Hardeep Singh Puri yesterday said, that Iran or Gulf is not the only place from where India imports its oil and petroleum products, petroleum raw material. So India definitely has other sources from where, just to give you an example, Russia, for instance, from where it imports oil and oil-related other raw material. So in that sense, the risk is mitigated, and in that sense, India will be less impacted, is what analysts believe.
Right. Pranav, thanks so much for joining us with those details coming in on that story that we are closely tracking, viewers. So now it's time to take a quick look at the trends that are running hot on social media and, of course, on the internet. More coming in from West Asia today. The U.S. Air Force's B-2 Spirit bombers have safely returned to Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri after carrying out a daring 36-hour mission to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. As part of Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 stealth aircraft executed precision strikes on key nuclear sites, deploying 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs and dealing a significant blow to the Iranian nuclear program. The Israeli Defense Forces carried out a series of coordinated airstrikes on 6 Iranian air bases, significantly impairing Tehran's ability to conduct the aerial operations. The strikes targeted key military infrastructure, including the runways, the underground hangars, and refueling aircraft and Iranian fighter jets like the F-14, the F-5, and the AH-1 types. Now, amid the ongoing Middle East conflict, the Israeli Defense Forces have also released footage showing strikes on Iranian airfields that destroyed several aircraft, including the Tomcats, and the operation carried out on the 21st and 22nd of June using the Israeli jets and drones targeted 6 military bases. Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed support for Iran, calling the US-Israel strikes illegitimate and violating international law. He met with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, discussing ways to address the situation. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, launched the 21st wave of Operation True Promise 3, targeting Israel with solid and liquid-fueled missiles and smart drones. The operation aims to exploit weaknesses in Israel's air defense systems. As reported by Iranian state television, the gate of Evin prison in Tehran was hit in an Israeli strike. The prison is known for holding regime dissidents, and the strike may be part of Israel's efforts to target Iranian military and strategic sites. And in a fresh retaliation, Israel has now launched missiles on Iranian IRGC headquarters in Karaj, Watch this video that is captured mere seconds after the strike. It's running on your screens. A giant banner featuring US President Donald Trump and the words, "Thank you, Mr. President," appeared on a central highway in Tel Aviv on Sunday, shortly after American airstrikes targeted 3 major nuclear facilities in Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the strikes as very successful, calling Trump's decision a pivot of history in a video message. Netanyahu added that action would significantly reshape the security across West Asia and the world. And on to the news from England viewers. Indian wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant has notched up his half-century. In fact, he's close to a century, what I'm told, in the latest in England. He's in fact on 98 as we speak. This is on day 4 of the first test at Headingley in Leeds. And Rishabh Pant blazed his way through the opposition's bowling attack. So 98 up for Pant, and of course everybody waiting with a bated breath for that very important century, the second one here in the same test match. He's already racked up 134 runs, as I was telling you, in the first innings, showcasing his incredible form. The left-hander absolutely on fire, playing shots all around the ground with ease. And in fact, it is a century today for KL Rahul as well, who was absolute class personified. He swept Shoaib Bashir's full delivery to perfection, raising it to the boundary for 4 runs. And what a composed knock he's playing today. He's looking exceptional in both the innings, learning from his misjudged shot in the first innings and converting his start into a big score in the second. And not to forget about Jasprit Bumrah. Boom Boom Bumrah demonstrating why he's the heartbeat of India's bowling attack with an incredible fifer that kept the visitors just ahead in the first test match. In a clip that is now going viral, Bumrah reflected on the drop catches. He remained composed in the face of constant disappointment from his fielders, including 2 drops from Yashasvi Jaiswal and a spill from the normally dependable Ravindra Jadeja. In fact, he said, I quote, "I am disappointed for a second when catches are dropped. It's a part and parcel of the game. The guys are new and working so hard. I don't want to create a scene and put more pressure on them. Nobody is doing it intentionally, so they will learn from this experience," unquote. And in fact, viewers, Bumrah has also acknowledged the conditions there. But remember, viewers, as we speak, Rishabh Pant is nearing a ton, and for more on this, I have my colleague Kermanshah joining us live in the broadcast from the digital floor. Now, Kermanshah, Rishabh Pant has been on a roll this time around, and we've seen a lot of maturity as well, the way he's been playing. In the first innings, we saw that ton coming up, and now again he's on his way to another.
Rakshita, we have a strange situation. We have one of India's 2 most dynamic cricketers, Rishabh Pant, who is now probably, he has played 12 balls and he still wants that century. He's just too short of it, so all of the entire India is actually waiting to see that century. If he does score those 2 runs, he will be the first Indian wicketkeeper batsman to score a century in England in both the innings. So that's a feat, and what a remarkable feat and what a remarkable turnaround, especially when you see he came out of that injury. Now talk about Jasprit Bumrah. Now fast bowlers are known to throw tantrums, but here you saw 3 catches dropped, but Bumrah maintaining his calm and composure. What a sight it was. So there's a lot to learn for the young cricketers who are coming in from Jasprit Bumrah, that even like when you have the ball in hand, you don't need to throw tantrums. The death stares and all can wait. Your ball can do the talking. That's it from my side. For now, the test is evenly poised. If India manages to score another 100 and probably give England a chase of 300 on the last day, Headingley, though the batting looks pretty easy as of now, the way KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant have batted, but never know, chasing almost 300 plus on a final day, England can crumble. India have a foot on the door towards victory here.
Right. In fact, Himanshu, we have to in fact talk about KL Rahul as well here. He's been, of course, really struggling to maintain his consistency. But this time he has, in fact, okay, I'm told that Rishabh Pant is on 99. I hope there are no nervous 90. I don't want to jinx it, but with Rishabh Pant, you can actually, you can feel him, taking that somersault again, and we might just see that viral celebration or maybe some another one. But yes, we have to talk about the class of KL Rahul. He has really converted the start this time again, learning from his mistake also.
Shades of Rahul Dravid in KL Rahul. He has been composed, he has been calm, he has taken runs, he has run for those singles and doubles. It's a story, it's an innings that's not like too many flashy shots. It's an innings that he has actually built on. And that time, especially at a time when he was struggling with his form, KL Rahul, I think he has done a magnificent work. He has really concentrated hard. And that's a story where you can say that if things are not going your way, you need to put your head down and then probably do that perseverance. So that exactly an innings of perseverance you can say here from KL Rahul in Headingley.
Right, Himanshu, thanks so much for joining us with those details coming in, viewers. So, yes, as we speak, Rishabh Pant is on 99 and he could be in for another ton. And Indian batters, of course, have been outperforming everyone this time. And, of course, given the foreign conditions, we've seen Rishabh Pant has always performed so well. And that's, of course, one of the biggest, headlines that is coming out. He's now the, the vice captain also. So, a lot of responsibility for him, and he has been leading from the front. We shift our focus to other trends that we are in fact running very, very fast on social media right now. Entering the space race, Honda has become the first company outside the US and China to successfully launch and land a reusable rocket, reaching an altitude of 271.4 meters in a 56.6-second flight. The company aims to develop the technology for suborbital launches by 2029. Genesis Yasmin Mohan Raj, also known as Tommy Genesis, has sparked controversy with her latest music video. The Canadian rapper with Indian roots drew a lot of ire after she dressed as Ma Kali, the Hindu goddess, and the video has been met with the accusations of cultural and religious insensitivity. Diljit Dosanjh is facing heavy backlash for casting Pakistani actor Hania Amir in Sardarji 3 amid the latest India-Pakistan tensions. The film's Indian release has been halted and Diljit has chosen to premiere it overseas instead. Remember, the release was suspended after the Pahalgam terror attack. Top Air India SATS officials were caught dancing at a DJ party just days after the tragic crash of Air India flight AI-171 that killed more than 200 people. The company has apologized, but the incident has sparked outrage and intensified scrutiny over the airline's operation. And of course, with this video coming up, people are questioning the seriousness. Zunil de Hoyos Mendes, alias Amy Muscle, a Colombian bodybuilding athlete, was found beaten to death with a hammer at a luxury residence on Spain's Costa del Sol, and her partner Jarod Gelling was also found dead with self-inflicted stab wounds, sparking a murder-suicide investigation. A video showing a man and a woman narrowly escaping an LPG cylinder blast has gone viral on social media, amassing 13 million views at least. The clip, captured by a CCTV installed in the building, shows the date as 18th of June and the word "mess supered" on it. Terrifying clip generated a lot of reactions on platforms like X, where users pointed out that the two lives were saved because the door and windows of the room were open. And viewers, the latest update coming in is that Rishabh Pant has hit another century. So this is his second century in Leeds. And once again, we see Rishabh Pant with his swashbuckling performance in Senna countries. This time in England, he has once again proved that why he is one of the biggest stars right now as far as the young guns amongst the batting lineup is concerned. Viewers, with that, we will be slipping into a short break. That's all from our side in this edition of Trending. Thanks for watching.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड भी, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Ali Khamenei is living in the very center of Tehran, in the supreme leader headquarters. But of course, he left this building, this complex actually, on Friday, June 13, just when the Israeli strike began. We have a few possibilities. We know that he has also a very fortified bunker in the north of the capital of Tehran, in the Lavizan area, which is a residential part of Tehran with a lot of wood and so on. And there is a very important military garrison and a bunker for Ali Khamenei. He could be there, but he could be also in the city where his family is living, Mashhad, in the northeast of Iran, approximately 900 kilometers east of Tehran. And of course, actually, he could be anywhere. We don't know. The only thing we know for sure is that he fears for his life and is hiding. Actually, everything is in the hands of the Iranian leaders. They decide their future actually now. If they decide to strike back and to attack the military, the American army somewhere in the Middle East, or maybe somewhere else in the world, or a US embassy and so on, of course the US will come back with other planes, other bombs, and will finish the job. That's very clear. So they have one option to strike back. They have another option to continue to strike Israel, as they did actually this morning, and organize something more discreet to strike the US. For instance, using international terrorism, as they did for the last 46 years. In this case, they could say, of course, this is not us. This is a group. We don't know them. We don't know why they attacked you. But everyone, of course, will know that it comes from Tehran, from the Iranian leaders. So I think that.
In a strong show of support, Russian President Vladimir Putin met Iran's foreign minister in Moscow, denounces the US bombing of Iranian sites as baseless and unprovoked. Iran witnesses a series of fresh Israeli airstrikes, with one of the strikes reportedly hitting the gate of Evin prison, the infamous facility known for holding dual nationals and Western detainees. There's no sign of de-escalation. Israeli defense forces have struck 6 airports in Iran, destroying 15 Iranian regime aircraft and helicopters.
Gambler Trump, you can start this war, but we will be the ones who end it.
The Iranian army issues chilling threat to Trump amid escalation, says the US started this war and Iran will end it. Meanwhile, fresh wave of projectiles fired by Iran towards Israel, attacks reported in Ashdod.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
आपकी फेवरेट हुंडई कार्स पर मिल रही है अमेजिंग डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप हुंडई ही, चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की, तो जल्दी चले आओ हुंडई शोरूम।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
The fact is that Donald Trump said within 2 weeks he will take action. He could have taken action the very next hour. He said within 2 weeks. He did not say he's going to wait 2 weeks. He said within 2 weeks. And he's a man who he lives up to his word. And I can tell you that this is evolving exactly in the way that geopolitical analysis would lead it to evolve. With China basically joining hands with Iran, I think the Israelis will get a shock because they have been trying to cultivate the Chinese now for decades. And now I think they'll be given a rude reality check on that. And the US is inevitable it comes in because it is not going to allow a nuclearized Iran. There's no question about that. It's not going to allow it. And so what we are witnessing is the beginning of of something that could be international ramifications. You already got China into it. I hope for Russia's sake that Putin is not going lockstep with China, but he declines from giving massive assistance to Iran because that is going to help the US diplomacy under Donald Trump. But all in all, I know what side India is on. India is on the side of the democracies. Prime Minister Modi is on the side of the democracies. He understands geopolitics very well. And Trump also understands geopolitics very well. I know Putin also understands geopolitics very well. And it's in Russia's interest to ensure that it does not join with China in a full-scale attempt, a futile attempt, if I may say so, to try and assist Iran. So I'd like to say what we are seeing now is a very significant development that has been really brewing for so many years, since Cold War 2.0 between the US and China in particular. Other democracies also came. And now it is bursting into a kinetic phase. And I'm not surprised by that. I don't think anybody who has studied that analysis or read those analyses will be surprised. I'm only saying that Russia is an imponderable, no doubt about it. And China, I think Israelis have got a reality check on China. And I think I applaud President Trump for acting the way he did and preventing a nuclearized Iran. I applaud him, and I can tell you, I know firsthand this government in India and President Trump on the basic strategic issues, they see eye to eye. And Prime Minister Modi and President Trump see eye to eye on the big strategic issues. They may differ on details, they may differ sometimes in rhetoric, but they are completely together on the big strategic details. So what's evolving now is something that is years in the coffee pot, so to speak. And I would like to say it will end only in the denuclearization of Iran and eventually in the end of the clerical regime and a democratic regime in Iran, which I think is going to be a very, very wonderfully developed country. And because the people are wonderful, they're highly talented, and it's got.
I have seen it, what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage, responsibilities. At Republic School of Journalism, you'll be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning inside a working newsroom from the day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
On prime time, we're not just reading the news, we are leading it with responsibility. Every night, we're asking tough questions, breaking the biggest stories, and setting the national agenda. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to front the news with confidence, clarity, and conviction. RSJ Diploma begins June 30th. Your prime time starts here.
Pakistan betrays Iran, now in a fix. Asim Munir, fooled by the United States, backstabs Iran. Internal turmoil in Pakistan over Iran betrayal. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning from a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism is where you begin. Courses begin on 30th June. Apply now.
Trump acknowledges regime change designs. Iran war's main goal to take out Khamenei. Has Trump finally revealed United States' true intention? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency, and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It is not theory. It is live learning from inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism is where you begin. Course begins on the 30th of June. Apply now.
Pakistan betrays Iran, now in a fix. Asim Munir, fooled by the United States, backstabs Iran. Internal turmoil in Pakistan over Iran betrayal. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
We don't just get you the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSJ Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here.
Pakistan betrays Iran, now in a fix. Asim Munir, fooled by the United States, backstabs Iran. Internal turmoil in Pakistan over Iran betrayal. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Each night on Prime Time, we don't just bring you the news. We lead it with responsibility, asking the toughest questions, breaking the biggest stories, setting the national agenda. At the Republic School of Journalism, you learn how to front the news with clarity, confidence, and conviction. The RSJ Diploma program begins on the 30th of June. Your prime time starts here.
Trump acknowledges regime change designs. Iran war's main goal to take out Khamenei. Has Trump finally revealed United States' true intention? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's a live learning inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Courses begin on June 30th. Apply now.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
On the show tonight, Pakistan betrays Iran, now it's in a complete fix. At 9 p.m. tonight, what is the